So hello everybody, this is Kiara. It's May 30th, 2020, and we're doing our tri-weekly meditation here. So before we do the meditation, I want to just announce the webinar that we'll be doing June 6th, 7th weekend, and then 10th, 11th, 12th over the week. So there'll be the first two days are about basic Inca practices, and then going deeper into Ilahinur, Gayanur, and building the tree of life that allows us to become more connected with the truth of knowledge. So contact Jamie, Jamie, Jamy, FRENCKEN at hotmail.com if you might be interested in this. So, when we talk about knowledge, there's two kinds of knowledge. There's the knowledge that we are most familiar with, which comes by analysis, discrimination, which is a function of the rational mind. And then there's the knowledge by identity, which is from a completely different level of the mind, known as the intuitive mind. And in order to truly understand something or someone, or to experience the reality of Source, this is the gateway to experience. So when we think about something, when we use our rational mind to analyze something, there's always a separation, there's always a boundary, there's always a veil between me, my perception of something, and that person or that object, and that state of awareness that they carry. But it's like always a separation. And this knowledge by identity is when you dissolve that separation. So when you're doing these practices to open the doorways, connect with the upper world, the lower world, to expand your bubble, to become Gaia, to become the universe, what we're doing is actually practicing this knowledge by identity. It's becoming quiet, it's becoming still, it's becoming unfocused, so your rational mind loses its fixed focus, and you're entering into that receptive state of primal experience, where you become that. It's not as difficult as we think. It just takes a little bit of practice. So these meditations can be useful for that. Once you learn how to open those doorways, learn how to keep them open, then you can practice with people, you can practice with circumstances, things around you, with elements of nature, with objects of nature. You can look at a tree and invite the tree to enter into your consciousness as you enter into the consciousness of that tree. And likewise with anything that you choose. You can develop a relationship with spirit guides, teachers. If you are sick and need some herbal remedies or homeopathic remedies, you can simply invite that frequency in through the window and enter into that spaciousness. And so anytime there's a connection, it's always about opening to subtle vibrational morphogenetic fields. Everything has a morphogenetic field. Morphogenetic means form creating. So when you're in that field, there's a resonance that begins to happen, and it creates knowledge by identity. You become that field, you participate in that field, and you experience that which that field is about. So when you're talking about communicating with animals, communicating with nature, communicating with the earth, it's the same thing. It's that knowledge through identity. So these meditations can be, really useful cumulatively to learn how to communicate with aspects of life that you may not normally be so aware of. Which also means aspects of ourselves that we may not normally be so aware of. All right, so any questions? I'll just go through this chat list here. Nice to see everybody from all over, wherever you are. Yeah, thank you so much always to participate. All right. So let's do this meditation. So as we begin, notice your awareness of the world around you. You're mediating your sense of reality through the rational mind, through analysis and interpretation before we can truly understand something. So you're aware of the world around you, you're aware of your body, you're aware of your breath. Listen to the sounds around you. Look for sensations within your body. So we start with this level of the mind. And now become aware of a subtle luminous bubble of light completely surrounding your body. Extending a couple meters around you in all directions. Notice the window at the very top of this bubble. Open this window now as wide as you can. And you're instantly experiencing this force of light pouring in through the window, through the bubble, through your body. It's a strong electrical force. There are electrical fields connecting everything in the entire physical universe. There are fields of ionized plasma And the property of this field is that this communication is instantaneous. As there's movement in any corner of the universe, there's a response every place else. So these are the currents that we're receiving from all over the universe. We're talking about the physical universe, but remember that everything is multidimensional. There's no such thing as physical isolation. Matter is multidimensional. The mind is multidimensional. Life, all life, is multidimensional. It's only the rational mind that learns to divide reality, to cut up reality into little pieces, and then focus on one piece, which we call the physical universe, and make that real in itself. So these electrical fields, as we open the door to the upper world, they move through our subtle bodies and through our physical body, and they start to intensify the vibrational field. New levels of communication that start to happen within the cells of the body, mostly subliminal, but also starts to release old conditioning, old trauma, fears, physical pain and illness, emotional suffering, things that have been weighing us down on so many levels that are, for the most part, subconscious. And the Sami, this light, begins to release it. Bring it up to attention, make it conscious, and then release it. It doesn't have to be conscious on a mental level. Sometimes it's simply a consciousness on a somatic level. You feel a sensation connected with something. And as you feel it, you release it. Sometimes it's an emotion. Sometimes it's a thought or a mood. And you feel that mood for a while. And then it releases. So in other words, things come up from the depths. They come up to the surface. But rather than sticking, they release. Much of the time as we go through life, we get stuck in certain moods, in certain emotional states, or certain mental frameworks, or physical states. And then that becomes dis-ease, imbalance, illness. It becomes nervous disorders, fears. So we're just allowing these powerful electrical frequencies of light to pour in from across the universe, pour down through the bubble, through our physical and nervous systems, down into the earth, where they can be grounded. And then in response, there's magnetic flows of energy rising up from the earth, flowing up through the feet, through the body, through the bubble, through all the different layers of the personality, the mind, the heart, the emotions. Just feeling the quality of this magnetic force. As it rises up through every cell in response to the electrical flows. So all you're doing is keeping that window above the head open as wide as possible, and that initiates the movement of both these streams according to the law of Aini, reciprocity. Bring your awareness now into a single point located within the heart. You just enter into that space within the heart and listen. In that stillness, you find yourself expanding as the electrical and magnetic forces continue to interweave. You find yourself expanding out through the electromagnetic substrate. That permeates all things. You find yourself becoming one with all things. You're activating this intuitive level of the mind now. Knowledge by identity. You become the earth. You become aware of the spirit of the earth, the heart of the earth, the soul of the earth. Through that point of stillness, you become the earth. And this knowledge is not about a rational understanding where you know everything there is to know. From the outside. But it's the knowledge where you become one with experience, identity, with her being. With the entire web of life that comprises her being. as we continue to expand our identity out through the skies, out through our solar system, out through our galaxy, and far beyond. We experience the same knowledge by identification with all there is. Everything we touch, we become. As you continue to expand beyond the boundaries of the physical universe, beyond the boundaries of time and space, beyond the veil of Maya, you're entering into a point of identity with Source, the One Self. Beyond the dimensions of creation, into the consciousness of the Self. And from this level of identity, there's a source of power, wisdom, and love that comes pouring in through all the different layers of consciousness and makes an impact, makes itself known. Through the unified heart, radiates out into the world around. So as you bring your attention, keep your attention within the heart. Just allow yourself to enter deeper and deeper into that stillness, into that point of identity where you recognize yourself as that. Notice how your breath becomes a bridge. As your breath becomes subtler, more connected, more circular, you can ride along this bridge into that silence of self. Allow yourself to remain now within the stillness. It's a place beyond emotion. It's a place beyond mind. It's simply a place of presence. The same presence that you experience beyond creation, you experience within the cells of your body. So we'll meet again Monday, same time. And then if you're interested in the webinar, please contact Jamie.